10 meritorious deeds also. So kindly also make a co-host. So
Yes,
that
yes, I have already.
okay, no problem. So, so today we are going to discuss about Brahma-vihara. We had discussed that in the last year questions. We have seen that there are 4 types of Brahma-vihara which have been asked. So I saw that in our syllabus there is no mention of Brahma-vihara, but the questions has been asked. So let us discuss today the Brahma-vihara, which is very much core teachings of the Buddhism. And if you go through the first sermon of Buddha at Dhammachakra at Sarnath, Rishipatan Mrigadav, Deer Park, at Sarnath, when he preached the first sermon named as Dhammachakra Sutta, and he said that चरत भिक्खवे चारिकम बहुजन हिताय बहुजन सुखाय लोकानुकंपाय अत्थाय देव मनुष्यानम ति. That all monks wander from one place to another place for the welfare of many kinds, many people, for the sake of welfare of all the gods and human beings also. So here, lokanukampa. Here, anukampa, there is a word which is very significant. It is another name of anudaya or karuna, or in the sense of metta also. So there are so many terms which have been discussed in our Dhamma Sangani related with anukampa. So anukampa is the, you can say, initial stage of having friendliness. It is said that if you start universal friendliness or friendliness, metri, or in Pali it is a metta, with another person, you have to first of all develop your anukampa, that is the compassion. So this is anukampa is the beginning of starting friendliness. So Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai, for the welfare of many people and for the welfare of many kinds also. Uh, uh, and Dev Manushanam, Sattha Dev Manushanam Ti. Sattha is in here in the sense of teacher, that is our blessed one, and Manushanam, that is the human beings. So that whole teachings of the Buddha is meant for the welfare of all, welfare of all human mankind. So there is a need of a Brahma Vihara. So the concept of a Brahma Vihara started in the, if you go through the Vishuddhi Magga, that is, there is a chapter which is known as Kamathan Gahan Nidesh, the third chapter of Vishuddhi Magga. The third chapter of Vishuddhi Magga, Acharya Buddha goes discusses about the 40 subjects of meditation. That there are subjects of meditations which are required for a yogavachar or a person who is desirous for starting concentration or samadhi or meditation. So these 40 subjects of meditations are Dasa Subh, Das Kasin, Das Anusati, from for Brahma Vihara, and one Chatudhatu Bhavathanam and Ahara Patikul Sanya. So these are the 40 subjects of meditations which have been given by a teacher to the yogavachar who is desirous for having concentration. So here 4 Brahma Vihara has been also prescribed after understanding the temperament of the person concerned. Here that a person who has antipathy temperament, he must develop that for Brahma-vihara, that is known as the metta. So that is the friendliness. So in that way, it has been started. And again, in the text, there are Samaya Phala Sutta and other suttas. The four Brahma-viharas have been also discussed. So let us discuss that what is a Brahma-vihara. Brahma-vihara is made up of two words, Brahma and Vihara. Brahma is in the sense of Sreshta, that is the Brahmoti Setto. In Pali, it is called as Setto, that is the excellent one, or in English, it has been said noble, noble way of, and Vihara is called as way of living. So Brahma Vihar is called as a noble way of living. There is a much concept of Bihar also. If you go through the Mahabharata, first book of Vinay Pitaka, which comes under the Khandaka of Vinay Pitaka, there are two texts under the Khandakas, namely Mahabharata and Chulvag. In Mahabharata, there is a discussion about the Vihar, that how there are five types of living for a monk which have been prescribed by the Buddha. They are namely Adhajog, Pasad, Hamiya, Guha, Vihar, Kuti. These are the places where a yogavachar or a monk can stay for the living also. It is another thing that Buddha also says that ghas sadhana paramatai bhikkhu santutto hoti, that a monk must be satisfied with covering of the body by the grass as well as leaves of the tree also. And for a staying, Buddha says that the root of the tree is the best place. That is why it is called as Rukmul Senasanam, Pindiya Lop Bhojanam, and Pansukul Chivaram. These are the four, you can say, requisites for a monk. But here there is a where can a yogavachar or a person can live. So there are five types of lenas. In Pali, it has been said lenas, that is the place of the living. There it is called as a Bihar, Adhajog, Pasad, Hamiya, Guha, and Kuti. These are the places which have been prescribed in Mahabharata, the first book of Vinay Pitaka. And Bihar was the place where the people were used to stay, as well as for the scriptural study also, going through the Tipitaka, Vinay Pitaka, Sutipitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. And this Bihar became center of higher learning, named as Mahavihar. We are having the name of Takshashila Mahavihar, Vikramshila Mahavihar, Nalanda Mahavihar. So later on, these small viharas, which developed as a center of higher learning for the monks and nuns, they became Mahavihar. So we are coming here, Brahma Vihar. Brahma Vihar is the noble way of living. That is the where the monks can stay for a in a low, excellent manner. So there are four types of noble way of living for the monks and nuns which have been discussed. So we'll discuss one by one. They are four in number, namely Maitri, Metta, compassion, karuna, or third is called as mudita, that is the unalloyed joy, and fourth is the upekha. In Sanskrit, it is called as upeksha, namely indifference. So these are the, or there is another term which is called as equanimity for the upekha also, and indifference is also called in our Indian tradition. But equanimity has been also used by our scholars. So this has been discussed. So one by one, we'll discuss that what is the metta or matri in Sanskrit. and in English it is called as friendliness. And how this Maitri or Metta became universal friendliness, that this friendliness became common to all the persons living in our on the earth. So Metta has been defined as parhit kamatati Metta, that a desire to help others. This is called as Maitri or Metta. In general parlance or general definitions, it has been said that a noble, a desire to help others is called as Maitri. There is a sutta which has been discussed in Sutta Nipat also. In Sutta Nipat, there is a sutta, there are 5 chapters, that is the Urag Bagga, Mahabagga, Chula Bagga, Athak Bagga, and Parayana Bagga. There are 5 chapters under the Sutripat. Under the first chapter, that is called as Urag Bagga, there is a sutta which is called as Mitta Sutta. And in Mitta Sutta, there are more than 20 verses, Gatha, which have been said regarding the what is called as Maitri. And Buddha says that mittam lokasmim manasam bhave paribanam, that this friendliness must be developed or best be practiced among all the people of the world. Loka here, lok manasam bhave lokam. So mittam cha sab lokasmim. This friendliness must be developed or practiced in the world, that is the loka. Lokoti sansaro, sansaroti bhavshak pampara, manasam bhave aparimanam, and it must be developed as a infinite. Infinite means the limit of the friendliness is not limited, it is unlimited. That is why it is called as unlimited. In another way, it is called as measureless, that unmeasurable. These 4 types of Brahma-viharas are known as immeasurable or not measurable or not limited to any kind of the people. It must be developed or practiced to all kinds of the person, irrespective of caste, color, creed, or anything, religion, that a person has to develop in all these things in the text. So let us discuss in a very detailed manner that what is the Sutnipat has been discussed. And again in Sutnipat, if you go through the Sutnipat, you will find that it has been said that as a mother protects her new baby or a small baby at the cost of her life, in the same manner, this universal friendliness or metta must be developed among all the people. So that is why matha jatha niyam puttam manasam bhave aparimanam. So it is, has been said that it must be developed among the people, just like a mother protects her child or a small baby at the cost of her levy. And now in the text in Visuddhimag also, there is a Brahma-vihara which has been discussed in a very detailed manner. So it has been said that when a person has to develop from the swa to sarva, that if a person thinks about from the state of the self to the state of the all, that when the people that Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sikhai, then it starts, and how we have to develop our consciousness or volition to start the our friendliness, it has been said. And there is no one who remains untouched with this soothing wave of friendliness. So it has been said in the Sutnipat also that whatever the beings there are, either aesthetic, moving, or walking, they are long or small, great or middle size, or large, either already born or they are likely to be born and either living in lower planes of existence or in the higher planes of the existence, and irrespective of ill will, antipathy, because our antidote of our friendliness or maitri is the ill will, that parvinasa chinta, that a desire to harm others. This is irrespective, divide of antipathy and away from happy. And he thinks that he may be all free from all the enmity and all kinds of disturbance. So this type of feeling must begin with the person for having friendliness. And again, it has been said that with an infinite friendly consciousness, one should dwell, making all the directions filled, saturated, and touched within the soul, within and without. So this is called as again in the Sutani path, it has been said that mettam hi bhavanam bhavanto va vyapado so bahi sati, that it has been said that by developing friendliness, metta, one can remove santi, one can destroy the vyapad. Vyapad is par binas chinta, that a desire to harm others, that is the ill will or antipathy. So all the beings from different temperament becomes friendly, and there remains no enmity in any kind, in any of the, you can say, people of all directions of the world. So there is no chance of functioning of feeling ill will and violence at all if a person starts with the practice of friendliness. So it has been said in a very detailed manner, and again in the later manuals of Abhidhamma, it has been said in a very detailed manner that there is a similar wave of friendliness with the friends, with those of indifferent, that is the, you can say, without having any pleasant or not pleasant, and also with whom who are in image. And it is said by the Buddha that those who are your image, friendliness must be practiced to those persons also. It is not like that those who are only well-wisher, only for them friendliness can be developed or practiced. So in this way, this has been discussed in a very detailed manner in our text. So in Abhidhamma, it has been said that there are three terms, alobho, adoso, and amoho. So these are the three moral roots, and ados is called as metta, adosoti metta. So here advesa bhavana. So here advesa, that is the, you can say, non enmity or non antipathy. So this is the main thing, and this friendliness is the main pure sublime, and others. There are other things which have been discussed, that how this bhavana can be developed in Visuddhi Magga. It has been discussed in a very detailed manner, and it has been said that Karniya Mat Kusalena Yant Santam Padam Abhisamachya, that a person must develop the moral states for having the Santam Padam, for a state of eternal bliss. And Sakko Uju Cha Sujhu Suvacho Cha As Mudu Antamitta. So here it has been said that the conceit, the man or the pride must be destroyed. Here, what is the man? That when there is a sense of aham, that sayo aham asmimti, I am the superior one, I am the excellent one. No one is equal than me. Everyone is inferior than me. Nachaso sadiso mama bhavaya. So no one is equal than me. This type of feeling must be, you can say, developed before our mitta bhavana, and this must be minimized, and then friendliness can developed. So these are some of the things which has been said in Sutripad. Further, it has been said that na cha khuddam samachare kinchim yen biyu pare upodeyo. Not having a, you can say, small sex or big sex or big animals or small animals. One has to develop all these things in a very, you can say, equal manner. There must be an equality. Buddhism believes that all are equal. No one is inferior or no one is superior. So, in that sense, it has been said, and we have also seen that how a mother protects her child at the cost of her life. In the same way, a person can also practice friendliness at the cost of his own life, and he should not think about himself, and that the concept has been developed in Mahayana text, especially in the Bapul Sutras like Bodhicharya Avatar and other texts, where this uh, the concept of development of bodhicitta, uh, there is a need of compassion, that how bodhicitta must be developed, because bodhicitta is luminous and pure by nature. And in the text, it has, in Lanka Avatar, it has been said that prakriti prabhasvaram chittam. So chitta or consciousness is immense pure by nature also. And in our Anguttara Nikaya also, it has been said that pakati pabhasaram idam chittam tam chakhoyi aguntukahi upkilese upkilitam. That our consciousness is immense pure, it is luminous by nature, and it is being defiled by incoming inward defiling factors. So there is a need of development of bodhicitta, and for that arising of the compassion for the bodhicitta, there is a need of the maitri, or you can say universal friendliness. So here it is also said that how can a yoga bachar can start, and in what way and where, what are the place where can a person can develop to. So in the Nikaya, we are having three types of conduct for universal friendliness or the Maitri. They are called as Buddhatacharya, Yanatacharya, and Lokatacharya. So here it is called as striving for the Buddhahood, just like what Bodhicitta is for the sake of getting a state of enlightenment. That is the Buddhatva. And in the sense, this is universal friendliness, it is called as Buddhatacharya. The activities related with for getting a sake of, you can say, a striving for a state of Buddhahood. Yanatacharya, that striving for the sake of the friends also, that friendliness must be developed for the friends also. And third is called as Lokatacharya, that there must be a striving for the welfare of all the people of the world, Lokatacharya. So these are the three things which have been discussed in our text. So again, it has been said that just like a beautiful word or thought which is not accompanied by the corresponding acts, is it is just like a bright flower which bears no fruit. It would not produce any effect. It is said that if there is no fragrance in the flower, it will not attract in the sense. So in that way, it has been said that Jathapi Rucharam Puppam Banvantam Agantakam Evam Subhasita Vacha Fala Hoti Akubbato. So this has been said in the Dhammapada. This is the essence of our, you can say, Maitri, or you can say, friendliness. So by having our pure love or friendliness, metta for selfish tendency, that is the charyas or temperament, like hatred and anger will be destroyed or removed. According to Buddha also says that a person cannot help himself well if he cannot help others well also. So this is the main thing which has been developed, and Buddha also says that irrespective of any directions, irrespective of any caste, color, creed, this our universal friendliness can be developed in a better way. So this has been said in our text. So let us discuss about the second type of Brahma-vihara, which is called as Karuna. Karuna is translated as compassion. Compassion is not a verbal sympathy after seeing the suffering of the others, but it is the name of the effort mm, mm, by seeing the suffering of others. Par dukhe haday kampanamati karuna. That after seeing the suffering of the others, how you are making an effort to remove those suffering, this is called as compassion. And it has been also said that karuna has been defined that kamiti dukkham runati iti tam pavisati binasai vaimati cha. That runati iti tam pavisati, that after seeing the suffering of the others, how you are entering into the suffering of the others, and how you are making an effort to remove those sufferings, this is called as compassion. So it is not only the verbal sympathy of after seeing the suffering of the others, but here it is said that par dukhe sati haday kampanam kinati va par dukkham hinsati binasati tiyatho, that it is in the sense of removal of the suffering of the others also, and how you are making an entrance into the suffering of others. This is called as a karuna, and karuna has been given much importance. And even what I have started my lecture, that चरत भिक्षवे चारिकम बहुजन हिताय बहुजन सुखाय लोकानुकंपाय. Here लोकानुकंपाय, बहुजन हिताय. Hit is in the sense of welfare, and anukampa is here in the sense of, you can say, that is the karuna. So here karuna, anukampa, these are the anudaya, daya. There are so many synonyms of this karuna also. And metta is treated as a beginning for development of our karuna also. So karuna has been also said that whatever the beings who are in suffering, they are big or small. In Sutripat, the karuna, how one should develop the karuna or practice the karuna, it has been discussed in a very detailed manner, that whatever the beings who are in suffering, whether they are big or small, long or short, moving or static, staying at one place or nearby, seen or unseen, may be free from all suffering. So this type of may be free from all kinds of ailments or diseases, fear, disturbance, misfortunes. So this type of feeling must start. So let there be happy and fearless welfare in their life also. So then practicing in this way, one can develop the range of compassion in unmeasurable manner. So there must be a soothing wavelengths of the compassion, or you can say par dukhe haday kampanamti. So the radiation of the compassion wavelet saturated with the soothing wavelets of the compassion must proceed from one individual to another one, and it must consummate in the positive effort. For here positive effort is in the sense of removal, not it is in the sense of that you are living not removal of the suffering. So this is called as, so karunam bhavanam bhavanto ti bihesa cha pahyasati. Bihesa is here antipathy, that how one can hatred can be removed. So in the manuals like Abhidhamma Avatar, Nama Rupa Pariched, and other Visuddhi Mag, the practice of the Karuna has been developed. And Professor J.C. Pandey, who has written Origins of Buddhism, he says that Karuna has only one object of the Sattva, that is called as the human beings. And there is another term which is called as Mahakaruna. Mahakaruna is in the sense of that the Blessed One, the Buddha. Buddha is Mahakaruniko. And when the Pragya and the Karuna, they are joined together, then Mahakaruna develops. And this Mahakaruna is develops only to the Buddha. And that is why he is called as Mahakaruniko. And when he becomes Mahakaruniko, then he takes birth in the form of human being, and he tries to remove the suffering of the others. In that way, it is called as universal kindness. And this universal kindness has been discussed in our text in a very detailed manner also. So in a very brief manner, I will discuss that how this Mahakaruna has been discussed. And if you go through the Visuddhimagga, we have seen that there are 40 subjects of meditations. Out of the 40 subjects of meditations, there are, you can say, 4 types of Brahma-vihara, which are required by a Yogavachar. And these 4 types of universal way of living, that is the noble way of living, must be given by a Kalyan Mitra. So in Visuddhimagacharya, Buddha Ghosa has discussed about the who can be a Kalyan Mitra. And Buddha is treated as a best Kalyan Mitra. In absence of Buddha, a person who is Arhat or Nikaydhar or Pitakdhar or even a Sutadhar can be treated as a best Kalyan Mitra. Under the supervision of the Kalyan Mitra, a person can develop or practice the 4 subjects of meditations also. So in that way, in our text like Namru Pariched and others, Visuddhimagga, they have in Mahakaruna and this Mahapragya, they have been discussed in Mahayana text also. And just now that when Pragya and Karuna are get connected by Mahakaruna, and this is the outcome of the Mahapragya also. So it is said that when Karuna and the Pragya are united together, then there is a Mahapragya also. And that is why in later our in Mahayana text, the Pragya and Upay, they were given Karuna and Upay. And later Upay was, you can say, changed with the Karuna. Pragya. So Pragya and Karuna, they have been given much emphasis in our Mahayana text also. So if you go through the later acharyas like Dinnag, Dharmakirti, or even Vasubandhu, they are talking much about the Pragya also, Mahakaruna also. So in that way, this Karuna was developed. And even if you go through the teachings of the Dalai Lama, His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama Tenzin Gyatso, we will see that how he always discusses about the Mahakaruna, Mahapragya, available in the Bodhicharya avatar and other texts also. So this is the main thing which has been discussed. So it has been said in our text also that Ichem anukampanto sabbe sattati sabattha sab dukh samuggahatam pathento karunayati. That after having anukampa, all the human beings in all the directions, all the sufferings are being removed. So this is called as karuna. Now we are coming to the third, our called as mudita, that is the unalloyed joy. It is said that after seeing the well-being of others or wealth of others, a person's become jealous also, and he tries to harm that persons also. So in that way, unalloyed joy is that after seeing the wealth and well-being of others, if a person has the unalloyed joy or happiness, this is called as mudita. Par dukhe pamodanam lakhanamti mudita. That pamodan is in the sense of gladdening. That after seeing the wealth of others, if our heart or the consciousness is being gladdened or they become very happy, then this is the state of mudita or an unalloyed joy. So it is called as sukhitesu mudita. Sukhitesu means that unalloyed joy is available among the pleasant things. Pleasant things that sukh is called as sukkarena khamati iti sukham. That agreeable feelings which are experienced by our body as well as mind. This is called as pleasant feeling. So this mudita is available among the objects or the subjects which are having the pleasant feelings. So this is called as mudita. And again, there is a replacement of, and we have discussed that there are two things which are antidote of this mudita. They are called as irsya and matsarja. In Sanskrit, they are called as irsya, that is the jealousy, and matsarja, that is called as miserliness. Miserliness means that if you are having the wealth, you do not like to give something to someone. This is called as miserliness. Irsya, that after seeing the wealth of us, others. So in Sakapahima Sutta, the Issa and Machariya, they have been discussed by the Buddha in a very detailed manner, that what are the characteristics of the jealousy as well as the miserliness, Issa and Machariya, and how the Issa and Machariya can be removed. Buddha has discussed that one must have unalloyed joy, and one can see the unmixed pleasure to see the prosperous of situation and happiest state of existence of the all human beings. So this has been discussed, and if a person who practice or develops mudita, then arati is the, you can say, attachment. There are three types of, you can say, Rag, Nandi, and Arti. These are the three sisters of our Yam, which is who approaches, the evil god named as Mar. Mar is called as, we are quite aware that at the time of the enlightenment, the Mar evil god approaches to the Buddha and he tries to disturb him. And there are three daughters of Mar. They are Rag, Arati, and Kama. These are the three daughters which are sent by our evil god Mar to the Buddha, and this arati is being removed. This the evil state, or you can say immoral state, which is being removed by practicing our unalloyed joy. So it can be also elaborated, that is the mudita bhavana, that it is nice, it is pleasant, that the beings in the human world are, as well as in divine worlds, are rejoicing. By seeing the rejoicing of others, if a person also rejoices, this is called as mudita. One does not feel antipathy or ill will after seeing the rejoicing or pleasant feelings of the others. This is called as mudita bhavana. And again, he thinks that how joyful it is that they have achieved the state of accomplishment of their purpose and cherished desires. If a person who has achieved his goal or aim, after seeing the aim and goal of others, a person must be happy, and this is called as, you can say, mudita. So mudita can be developed, and there are so many verses, 5 6 verses which have been discussed in our Sutanipat, as well as mudita bhavana has been discussed in the manuals of Abhidham, namely Namaru Pariched Katha, Abhidhamma Avatar, as well as in the commentaries and the Visuddhi Mag, composed by Acharya Buddha Ghosh. Lastly, we are coming to the equanimity, that is called as upekha. Upekha is in Pali. In Sanskrit, it is called as upeksha. Upeksha is that neither pleasant feeling nor unpleasant feeling of seeing others. This is called in Pali mudjanesu upekha, that the feeling of indifference or equanimity which arises after seeing unpleasantness or pleasantness of others. This is called as equanimity. So it does not convey the sense as it is understood in generic or ordinary parlance. So here it is used in the technical sense also. So it is said that for maintaining equanimity of all situations, suppose there are 8 loka dharmas which have been discussed in our Pali text also, like they are called as 8 types of gains also, like labh, yas, mm, they are 8 types of, you can say, gains which have been discussed, and they are called as lokadhamma. And suppose if a person who has loss in his profession or business, he becomes sad also. And if a person who gets so many monies in his business or in his service, he becomes very glad. And so here equanimity is that if you are maintaining the normal state in either loss state or in the gain state, this is called as equanimity. So whatever in the state of suffering or in the pleasant, that is the in the state of dukkha or sukha, if you are having the you can say very normal position of yourself, you are not being disturbed by any situations, diverse situations also. This is called as upekha, and these are the natural phenomena of the life also, that if a person who has the suffering, after sometimes he has the pleasant feeling also. So here it is the, it can be understood that it is the phenomena. Everything is dependent on some cause and conditions. Whatever things which are happening in our day-to-day life, they are dependent on some cause and conditions. If you are understanding the nature of the existence or nature of the reality, that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. In that way, we are seeing that just like the bhavana, which has been also discussed in our Pali text also, that like earth, water, fire, and air, these are the four Mahabhutas which are, you can say, having equanimity related with all the human beings, irrespective of any caste, color, creed, or religion. They are giving shelter to, the earth is giving to shelter to the person who has the good wealth also, and the persons who are in the state of suffering. So here it is said that giving up the intense feeling of liking the one and disliking the other with a balanced and detached mind. There must be a balanced mind and you can say detached mind. And we also know that the mind has the characteristics of unsteadiness. That is why in Dhampada it has been said, Phandanam chapalam chittam durakham dunivaryam, that it is very difficult to control it. It is unsteady. It does not stay at one place. That is why it is said that one must have a balanced mind and detached mind also. So in that way, this can be developed. And it is said that upekham bhavanam bhavyato yo patigho so pahyasati. Patigh means patighoti, dosoti, parvinas chinta. So in that way, one can remove the a desire to harm others also. So here the other meaning of upekha is also in the sense of developing indifference towards the folly of others and exerting for its removal also. So it is also said in our text that one must have association of such a persons in our day-to-day life who behave unpleasantly due to their ignorance. One should not be affected with their wrongful behavior. If a person who does immoral or wrong behavior with someone, one must not retaliate to that person also. But he should tackle it in a very balanced way, or you can say in a right manner also. And there must be right effort for gradual removal of that ignorance. And one who has the wrong ignorance, he is doing the wrong behavior, or he does the wrong actions because of having ignorance. That is called as avidya. And avidya is not having the, you can say, not knowing the nature of the reality, that all things are subject to anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So in that way, it has been said. Again, there are other meanings of upekha also, that it is in the sense of equality, samata bhav. It is also said that one must have the sabta bhav, equality to all the persons, irrespective of any caste, color, creed, and religion. It also said chattaro banna samsamahunti. So in that sense, upekha is also, you can say, treated in the sense of samata, that is the equality to all the persons. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, great revivalist of modern India, he also says that there must be samata to all kinds of the persons, irrespective of caste, color, creed, and religions. So it is also in the sense of upekha is that is the sab dharma sambhav. Gandhiji was having a concept of that some darshan bhav, that a person must see with right understanding to all the persons in right manner also. Sab dharma sambhava or sab manushya bhava. So like that, this type of you can say consciousness can be developed with the practice of equanimity or indifference, that is upekha bhavana. And in this way, these four types of universal way of living, that is called as Brahma-vihara, it can be developed in our society also, and people can apply these four types of universal teachings of the Buddha in our day-to-day life, and in that way the suffering of the people can be removed. So in that manner, it has been said in a very detailed manner in the text. So this is the sum up of the four Brahma Viharas. If you have any question, you can ask. We have 2-3 minutes. So do you have any questions related with the four Brahma Vihara? So in the examinations, it will be asked that write down in a brief manner with the four types of Brahma Vihar, or the four types of virtues of noble way of living. Any question, Rahul, if you have?
Sir, how does Brahma-vihara lead towards the Nibbana?
Not only for Brahma Viharas, we just talked that in Visuddhimagga, the magnum opus work of Acharya Visuddhimagga, there are 40 subjects of meditations. And out of the 40 subjects of meditations, four Brahma Viharas are also prescribed. And these four Brahma Viharas are mm, given to the Yogavachar, or to a person who is desirous for having a state of eternal bliss or nirvana, nibbana. So after seeing the temperament of the person concerned, a Kalyan Mitta, who is the teacher, he can, understanding the temperament of the Yogavachar, he can prescribe. If a person who has the rag charya, who has the temperament of the rag, how can he develop, remove the rag or attachment? For that, it has been said that a person must have the equanimity. So a person must develop the upekha bhavana, and after development of upekha bhavana, this rag attachment or lust can be removed, and in that way he can go towards the, these four Brahma Viharas are the essential feature for getting a state of Rupa Jhan and Arupa Jhan. After going through the Rupa Jhan and Arupa Jhan, which are called as Samatha, that is the calming of the mind down, and then Yogavachar moves towards the Pragya, or in another way it is called as Vipassana, through which a Yogavachar can know that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. So these are the, you can say, primary factors for getting a state of eternal bliss. There are some persons who can get directly to eternal bliss also, but only it shows that how, which type of consciousness he has already developed. And in that way, we have seen in Mahabharata also that there are some of the persons who, after hearing the first discourse of the Buddha, he was enlightened, or he got arhatship also. And even we have seen that Anand, who was the close disciple of the Buddha, he got enlightenment or Buddhahood after passing away, or Mahaparinibbana of the Lord Buddha also. So it depends upon the quality, what type of the that our consciousness is immense pure, and how hearing the teachings of the Buddha or practicing the noble way of the living, namely metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, one can get to the state of Nibbana.
Thank you.
Any more? Any Momoru, you have any question?
Yes. Is there any text for today's lecture?
Sorry, I have not given to you. I will just now, within 1 hour, I will share you some of the materials, reading materials to you, so that you can go through that.
Yeah.
So I will send you through email. I forgot to send the reading materials. I will send it to you, related with the universal friendliness, metta, universal love, as well as compassion, and 4 factors of meditations, 4 factors, 4 way of our noble way of living, so that you can go through that. And
Yes.
I have just now discussed that in Sutnipat, Buddha has discussed all the, you can say, 4 types of virtues also. So if you go through the Sutnipat, which is the 5th book of Khutak Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka.
Okay.
So if you go through the English translation of Sutta Nipat, you can read the text also, as well as you can go through the translation of the text also.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. Any more question, Hiroko or anyone? Do you have any question? Yes, ask.
Yes. I think I don't have a question today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Professor, Upekha and Samta is synonymous to synonymous?
Not synonymous, but here when we are talking about this Brahma-vihara, under the Brahma-vihara, Upekha is coming.
Okay.
So Upekha is in the sense of neither pleasant feeling nor unpleasant feelings. Just like a fool person, Murkha, who does not make any differentiation between the good and the bad. In his behavior also, you cannot distinguish that, he cannot make a distinction that what is the moral and what is immoral. So in that sense, it is called as equanimity or indifference. And there are other terms which have been also given for this upekha, that a samata, that just like a person who is full, he has the, you can say, samata towards all. He does not that he is a good person, he is a bad person. And that samata is another sense when we talk, Buddha says that chattaro varna samsama hunti, that all human beings, all the 4 varnas, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas, and Sudras, they are equal. In that sense, it is called as samata, samabhava. And later on, our Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who also developed this samata bhavana, and in the constitution also, he put equality, fraternity, justice, and liberty. These are the 4 terms which have been included by our B.R. Ambedkar in Constitution of India. And if you go through the preamble of Constitution of India, you will find that these terms which have been used, they are taken from our teachings of the Buddha also. So the Panchashil and others, the teachings, even if you go through the Constitution of India, freedom of right of expression or freedom of speech, which is 19th article of our fundamental rights of Constitution of India. So this has been also discussed in Kalam Sutta of our Digha Nikaya. So these are quite, so in that sense, your equanimity is in the sense of sambhav. Later on, Gandhiji also developed that there must be a sense of samatha to all the persons also. So in that sense, it is samatha, but it is not. There are other you can say terms which have been equated with upekha, but it is not the same.
It is not.
Okay. Any more question?
Okay. I have one question, but time is over, so I'll
No,
ask.
no. You can ask. We can talk. We have time. I am free. You talk. You ask.
If how can we recognize Kalyan Mitta? Means, is there any criteria for Kalyan Mitta? So then we can recognize him. He has four Brahma-viharas, or a common person can be a Kalyan Mitra if he teaches us
No,
Dhamma
not common. In the text, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has given that Kalyanamit, the best Kalyanamit is the Buddha. Okay. If Buddha is not available, then Pitakadhar, Dhar, Sutadhar, or Matikadhar. If anyone who is excellent holding of the Vinaya Sutta and Abhidhamma, you can approach as a Kalyanamit.
What is
If
Mata?
Sutadhar, Vinayadhar, and Matikadhar are also not available, then if in Nikayadhar, if a person who knows the Digha Nikaya, Majhim Nikaya, Sanchukta Nikaya, any of the Nikaya who has mastered any Nikaya, he can be any, you can say, your Kalyanamit. So you have to approach Mahavihar or Bihar, where the persons are living. You have to find out who can be your Kalyanamit. It is a very difficult task for a Yogabachar, just like a student, that who can be my supervisor for PhD course and who can be my good teacher also. So until unless you do not interact with some of the persons, you cannot think that who is the best teacher. In the same manner, you have to approach the good monasteries like Taksila, Mahavihar at that time. Nowadays, the monasteries where the great chief abbot who are residing, and you have to find out that whether they are knower of the teachings of the Buddha in a very well manner or in right manner or not. You do not approach to a person who does not who does not have you can say knowledge of the teachings of the Buddha. He does not know the Digha Nikaya, Majhim Nikaya, or Sanjukta Nikaya. How can he talk about that? He does not have a original, you can say, the sources of information. So in that way, it is a very difficult task for a Yogavachar also to approach the good Kalyana myth also. But in the text, it has been said that if you find these persons, you can approach to them, you can request, you have not to be in a hesitant manner. You do not have to be very, you can say, that I have come here and you start giving me teachings for Brahma-vihara, or you can say Samatha Bhavana or Vipassana Bhavana, something like. You have to be very patient also. There are so many rules and regulations which have been put in our text also. Here it is said that if you are going to monastery or you are going to Kalyanamit, you have to wait for 10 days, 15 days, even for 1 month or 2 months also. Then Kalyanamit is able to understand your mental temperament also, that which type of temperament you are having. And based upon the temperament of the person concerned, he prescribes the, you can say, one of the subjects of meditations, which are 40 in number. So it takes time for the Kalyanamit also, and for a person also who is desirous to have this 4 Brahma-vihara or 40 subjects of meditations also. One should not be in a very haste manner. He must be in a very patient manner. then he can develop, you can say, respect or confidence or faith, that is called as saddha. Sampasadana lakhana saddha, sampakhandan lakhana cha. So these are the qualities one must have respect towards the teachers also. In Milind Pahyo also we find that once upon a time our Acharya Nag Sen became very much angry with his teacher also. And and he also thought that I know better than my teacher also. Nag Sen thinks about it. And his teacher came to know that my pupil or a student, he is thinking like this, that he knows better than his teacher also. So if a person who has the feeling like this, he cannot develop the 4 types of noble way of living also, or other subjects of meditations also. So you have to be very patient. You must have confidence. You must have faith, and you must have Tisaran also. You must have taken refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So there are so many prerequisites for getting a state of, you can say, eternal bliss, and for having Kalyan with also. So it is a matter of another class we can discuss in another way. So it has been discussed in a very detailed manner, that how can you recognize who is the best Kalyanamit or who is your best teacher also. Nowadays it is also very difficult to find out a very good teacher. Who can be a good teacher? In the same manner, who can be a Kalyanamit? Best Kalyanamit. It is very challenging, difficult task for a Yogavachar also, who is desirous for getting purification of his consciousness also. Any more question?
Yogavachar means Prathakjan.
No, Yogavachar, a person who is on the path of Sotapatti Magga, Sakdagami Magga, Anagami Magga, and Arhat Magga. There are 4 paths. So a person who has taken refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, he has, Yogavachar is called as a recluse, one who has taken the path of Buddhism. He must have taken refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. He must have taken Sarana. Sarana has great impact on the Yogavachar also. Okay, we can discuss after the class also. These are some of the things which can be not discussed in our class period. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So see you in the next week. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Here.